Welcome back to the Archive Network. Aurelius here, with Malik, curators of the Exploration Archive. We left Vasco da Gama last time, and as the season shifted and monsoon currents began to change, captains faced difficult choices about timing and allocation of the fleet. Today we pick up where we left off. As they journeyed south, the southern seas began to reveal their true nature. The Armada approached the great bend of the African coast, where cliffs and currents conspired to challenge even the most seasoned captains. Choices loomed large. Should they risk hugging the perilous shore or venture into the open swell, where nature showed no mercy?
Those choices weren't just tactical. They were about life and death. Captains had to weigh their instincts against the relentless forces of the sea. It's not just about navigation. It's about survival in the face of nature's fury. The Southern Ocean demanded respect, and many men found themselves powerless against storms that changed everything in an instant. They weren't just battling the elements. They were fighting for their lives, for their crews, and for the hope of returning home.
The 22nd of November marked a critical juncture in our tale. The Armada faced gales that rose with furious speed, catching crews utterly unprepared. Waves crashed against hulls, turning ships into fragile toys in a relentless tempest. Men lashed themselves to masts, driven not by orders but by a primal instinct to survive. They understood all too well that the sea would not forgive mistakes. In moments like these, we see the raw struggle between man and nature, a dance older than time itself.
The ocean's fury was more than just a backdrop. It was a character in this unfolding drama. Those men weren't just sailors. They were warriors battling the relentless forces of nature. Each wave that crashed against their vessel was a stark reminder of their fragility. They faced the chaos with nothing but instinct and faith, knowing that every decision could mean the difference between life and death. In those moments, they weren't just fighting the sea. They were fighting for their very survival.
Indeed, the weather separated the fleet. Vessels lost sight of each other, swallowed by torrential rain and black water. Navigation became an act of faith. Captains read the sky and measured their position, hoping to find safer passage. This is what empires do, push through adversity, even when the odds are stacked against them.
Aurelius, you focus on empire, but what about the men? They were not mere pawns in a grand strategy. They suffered real pain, exhaustion, and fear. Hunger gnawed at them while they clung to life. The weight of fatigue was palpable. It blurred their vision and dulled their senses. This wasn't just a journey. It was a forge of human endurance.
You're not wrong about their suffering. The ocean tossed them about mercilessly, and the salt stung their eyes. They endured conditions that would break lesser men. Yet, even amidst that chaos, moments of wonder emerged. Whales surfaced nearby, breaching the waves, and strange birds landed on their spars, offering brief reprieves from the storm's relentless wrath. It's a reminder that even in the darkest times, nature can surprise us, giving a glimmer of hope in our shared human struggle.
Those moments of beauty only highlighted their struggle. In the midst of chaos, they found fleeting solace. Yet it was a reminder of their isolation. The whales didn't represent companionship. They were reminders of the vast unknown. The sailors were alone in a world of wonder and danger, where every moment could be their last.
They sought shelter wherever possible, often finding refuge on the eastern shores. Here, crews engaged in trade with local peoples, exchanging cloth for much-needed fresh water. They dug wells, creating connections that were both fragile and vital. The Portuguese approached with gifts, hoping to smooth the path for safe passage. With each encounter, the balance of power shifted subtly, shaping the future as we see it. Power dynamics are always in flux, and this was no exception.
And yet, those gifts were often misinterpreted. The locals viewed the Portuguese with a healthy dose of suspicion, questioning their true intentions. This wasn't just about trade. It was about trust and relationships. The Portuguese quickly realized that their presence didn't guarantee acceptance. They had to navigate a complex web of local customs and power dynamics, often unsure of who to rely on. It was a delicate dance, and the stakes were high for everyone involved.
True, misunderstandings led to conflict. Armed ships transformed harbors into arenas of tension. The Portuguese had to reckon with the established orders of trade. This was a world governed by its own rules, and they were not merely outsiders, but intruders in a landscape rich with its own history. Their struggle was both physical and political.
And the toll on the men was immense. Scurvy claimed lives, while fever spread rapidly through the crew like wildfire. Exhaustion turned sailors into shadows of their former selves, hollow-eyed and weary. They faced not just the ocean's wrath, but the heavy weight of their choices. Each man's name faded into the sands of foreign shores, lost to time. Their sacrifices, their stories, deserve recognition. We can't forget the faces behind those names. They fought bravely, and it's our duty to remember them.
As the monsoon season shifted, captains faced critical decisions about timing and fleet allocation. Some were preparing to return home, while others were busy negotiating for longer stays. They'd learned to live with new diseases and had become adept at reading unfamiliar waters. This journey was reshaping trade routes. It was also influencing economies and cultural exchanges. We can see how the world itself was beginning to transform right before our eyes.
That's where we leave it this time. Vasco da Gama continues. The story isn't finished yet. Find the full series on the Exploration Archive, part of the Archive Network. We'll be back with the next chapter.